So the last footwork drill that we're going to work on is probably one of the most important, and that is how do we safely run down a lob, okay? Because we know we don't want to go backwards, right? We want to avoid any potential injuries, but we also, if we can train our footwork correctly, we're going to be much quicker to get back and get those lobs and get them back under control. So understanding that there is a correct pattern to retrieving a lob and what is that very first step is going to make a big difference in you being able to get back and get that ball and stay in the game, okay? So the first thing is we're up here at the kitchen, right? And we're dinking, and Damien decides he's going to lob me, okay? The very first step that I want to take is a pivot in the direction of my strong side, okay? So for me, I'm right-handed. That means my first step is a pivot towards my right side. And I'm almost turning all the way around on this pivot, okay? This is a quick pivot. It's a strong pivot. We're gonna be pushing off on our left leg, pushing off, and now we're actually stepping to get back to this baseline, all right? So we're not shuffling, we're not running backwards, we're not shuffling sideways. We're actually doing that very first pivot to allow us to get back here, and then we're turning around to get behind this ball and hopefully be able to just drop it back in. All right, so people always ask, who's responsible for getting the lob, right? A couple of rules of thumbs there. You know, obviously depending on your age and your athletic ability is going to determine somewhat how much you're going to go for a lob. But if we're going to take that all out of the picture and we're going to say everybody has a job to retrieve a lob when we get lobbed, it's going to be more about which side of the court you're on, okay? So if I'm playing on the left side of the court here and I'm a right-handed player, I'm probably going to be responsible for getting 70% of the lobs, okay? So any lob that goes over me, any lob that kind of goes over the middle here, those are going to be my responsibility to run down. The player on the right side, if they're a right-handed player, they're still going to pivot to their right? We don't want to pivot to our left because now we're kind of twisted up and we're going to make a loop in order to get that ball. But pivoting to your right, you're only responsible for about 30% of the court, okay? Those are going to be your balls. Obviously, if we have a left-handed player, that dynamic's going to shift a little bit more because if I was a left-handed player here playing on the right side, obviously then I'm going to be able to pivot to my left, and that's going to open up a lot more of the court that I could then potentially run down that ball, okay? So understanding that for most of us, the player on the left is going to be responsible for getting a lot of the lobs. Key, communication, right? If we're both moving back, we got to talk because I'm watching this ball. I'm not necessarily watching my partner, and I don't want to run into my partner. I got to call it. I got to say, I've got it. I've got to get back there, and then we're going to work our way back up again with good footwork through that transition zone, getting back to this kitchen game. All right, so we're just going to be cooperative here, practicing this out. We're going to dink. When Damien feels like it, he's going to lob me. And I'm going to get it back under control. Okay, good. Nice, and work my way right back up again. One more. Good. All right, so when you are practicing this, even though some of those lobs, maybe I could overhead them, my goal right now is to work on my footwork for retrieving the lob. So I'm letting it bounce regardless, working on getting around it. If I can, when I get around it, that's my pause. That's my breath. That's when I calm down to hit a nice shot, right? The more frantic I am, the worse shot I'm gonna hit, but regardless, I wanna get it over the net. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this into a drill where we're both working. All right, so you'll lob me, I'll run it down. If I get it back up to the kitchen, now it's my turn, I get to lob you. All right, here we go. That was a good one. All right, one more try. That's pretty good though, right? So we get the idea. Goal, really working on that first pivot, really working on quick footwork to get back in a safe manner that's going to give you a better chance to get that ball back over the net. And then I like how you got to work your way right back up again. Good split steps, good stopping, keeping that ball out in front of you. All of these drills and increasing our footwork and improving our footwork are going to help us evolve our game. We're also going to evolve our game by making sure you like and subscribe Selkirk TV and watch all the great content that's out there. Thanks, guys.